who better than to take a look at this series and deliver his verdict than Meghan's brother, Thomas Markle Jr. I sat down with him earlier today, and this is his review. Welcome, Tom. Thank you for standing in to be our special critic for the day. Now, we've both watched, I might say endured, with Love, Meghan. It's finally hit Netflix today. I won't try and lead you down your avenue, but what are your first impressions? What did you think of the show?
Well, I think you hit it right off, the nail on the head right off the bat by endured. But the opening scene, honestly, gosh, the opening scene with the bees. The first thing I thought was like, oh my God, Meghan's going to stick her face in a box of bees, and it's going to be called Botox with Meghan. I don't know. It was just
that's the next series, Tom. That's the next series.
Yeah.
But my feeling about it was, and I just thought,
yeah. The first 5 minutes, it was just so bland and generic, and it looked like so much effort was made, like put into it to make it look bland. It was just so like blah, like there was nothing sparkling about it, nothing jumped out. It was just Meghan talking in that bland, generic voice about nothing. I noticed when she said that she grew up like watching cooking shows and grew up cooking all the time. And that wasn't the case. I mean, I do have to hand it to Doria. Doria is a great cook. I mean, by far a great cook. But Meghan, I don't think it, you know, the only thing that really made sense is when she started cooking bath salts there on the show and started talking about teabagging or something like that. I don't get it. She didn't cook anything for anybody ever growing up.
Yeah.
But when she started cooking bath salts on the show, then it all made sense.
How about she could have invited you, Samantha, and your dad round for lunch? Now, that would have got a massive audience, wouldn't it?
That would have been a showstopper right there. Although, you know, she probably would have turned us into wax dolls in the basement with all those candles and stuff. I don't know. It's just, but there was definitely better ways to go about that show. Don't get me wrong. There was a lot of effort put into that. The making of that, and I feel sorry for all the employees who had to endure it, but it takes a lot, but it just didn't work out. Nothing about that episode at all during the entire thing made me want to do it, made me ever want to watch it again. It was that boring. I'm sorry it was, but that's
I couldn't agree with you more. I used to be a TV critic, and I've watched a lot of TV in my time, and I've watched a lot of very dull shows. I mean, that one took the biscuit. I mean, it really, or the cookie, I should say. That one really was tedious. Towards the end of the first episode, as she and her employee Daniel are sitting down to eat some yogurt or something, they look across this fantastic view, and Daniel said, "I feel like this is all fake."
I feel like this is all fake.
It is not a backdrop. This is not a green screen.
Did you feel like it was all fake as well?
Yeah, I mean, I have to be honest. You know, I mean, I do a lot of things on social media. You know, I make a lot of jokes all the time, and you know, actually, this is probably the first time I felt sorry and embarrassed for her, honestly. I mean, there should be like a disclaimer, you know, no cast or crew were hurt in the making of this series, you know? I don't know.
No cast or crew died of boredom during the making of this series. The audience, I'm not so sure. Yeah, that's an interesting take on it, Tom, that you felt she's so desperate. There's a desperation about her desire to be loved by everybody. Aren't I cutesy? Aren't I lovely? Look at the effort I make for all my friends. I put flowers in a pot. I love to prep the guest room and all that stuff. Desperate to be loved, and yet not quite cutting it, not quite making it. So in that respect, that's what makes you feel a little sympathy for her.
You know, to touch back on what you said a minute ago about she could have invited her father, first of all, me and Samantha, of course, and she could have turned that into something like the entire world was actually wanting to expect Meghan to do the right thing and pull her head out of her, you know what, and make amends. And at least with her father, you know, this would have been a great opportunity, a special guest on the season premiere, and she can sit there and make her dad one of those rainbow fruit hats or whatever the things. I mean, it looked like a clown's hat, but you know, Dad would have enjoyed that.
Exactly right. It would have been, as you say, a blockbuster. That would have been the way to start the series. But to go back to this sort of fakery line, I mean, the whole thing exudes a kind of fakery. And there she is, trying to pretend that she's this wonderful mum, this wonderful...
The British media cycle churned once more, as it often does with stories that captivate the public's imagination. The relentless pursuit of headlines and the insatiable appetite for royal drama were in full swing. Thomas Markle Jr, half-brother to Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, found himself a familiar platform. He appeared on TalkTV, a network known for its provocative content and sensational interviews. His host was the often controversial journalist Kevin O'Sullivan, a figure who thrives on stirring the pot and pushing the boundaries of conventional journalism. The topic, unsurprisingly, was Meghan herself. Meghan Markle, a figure who has been both celebrated and vilified in the media, continues to be a lightning rod for public opinion. More specifically, it was her new Netflix docuseries with Love, Meghan. This series, which delves into her personal and professional life, has sparked a renewed interest in her story. This appearance marked another chapter in a long line of public pronouncements from Thomas Jr. regarding his famous sibling. His comments have often been a mix of personal grievances and public accusations. This time, however, there was a sense of desperation. His tone was more urgent, his expressions more strained, as if he felt this might be his last chance to be heard. The docuseries, a personal project by Harry and Meghan, had been well received. Critics praised its candidness and the couple's willingness to share their struggles and triumphs. It painted a picture of a couple finding their way, navigating the complexities of their roles and the intense scrutiny that comes with their status. They were navigating love, family, and immense public pressure. Their journey, filled with both joy and hardship, resonated with many viewers. This positive reception seemed to sting Thomas Jr. His expressions betrayed a mix of frustration and envy, as if he felt overshadowed by his sister's narrative. He appeared more determined than ever to disrupt this narrative. His resolve was palpable, his intent clear, to challenge the story being told by Meghan and Harry. He came armed with fresh criticisms. His arguments were meticulously prepared, aimed at discrediting Meghan and casting doubt on her version of events. His attacks were aimed at discrediting Meghan and her portrayal of their shared past. He brought up old family disputes, childhood memories and personal anecdotes, all in an effort to paint a different picture of their relationship. The interview quickly turned into a heated debate, with Thomas Jr. passionately defending his perspective. The audience watched, captivated by the unfolding drama. Meanwhile, Meghan continued to maintain her public image, focusing on her work and her family. Her positive press coverage stood in stark contrast to her brother's embittered narrative. As the interview concluded, Kevin O'Sullivan offered his closing remarks, leaving viewers to ponder the complex dynamics of the Markle family. Thomas Jr. left the set, his mission to challenge his sister's story far from over. The British media, ever hungry for the next big story, continued to churn. The public, too, remained divided, their opinions shaped by the latest revelations and the ongoing media frenzy. In the end, the tension between Thomas Jr. and Meghan remained unresolved, a poignant reminder of the complexities of family and the power of the media to shape our perceptions. O'Sullivan, known for his confrontational style, gave Thomas Jr. ample space to voice his concerns. He was able to air his grievances about the Netflix series, which has been a hot topic of debate. Thomas Jr.'s main point of contention seemed to be the portrayal of their family, which he felt was unfair and misleading. He claimed the series misrepresented their upbringing, painting a picture that was far from reality. He insisted that their childhood was far from the difficult one depicted in the series, emphasizing that they had many happy moments. His attention to the content of the series itself, which he found problematic on multiple levels. He criticized it as being self-indulgent and out of touch with the realities faced by ordinary people. He scoffed at the couple's discussions of their personal challenges, arguing that they were trivial compared to what many others go through. He labelled it as whining from a position of immense privilege, pointing out the stark contrast between their lives and those of the average viewer. This, he argued, further alienated them from the British public, who are already sceptical of their intentions and actions. The public's reaction has been mixed, with some supporting Thomas Jr.'s perspective, while others defend the series. Social media has been abuzz with debates, as viewers share their own interpretations and opinions. News outlets have also picked up the story, adding fuel to the fire with their own analyses and commentaries. As the controversy continues to unfold, it remains to be seen how it will impact the series' reception and the public's perception of the individuals involved. One thing is certain, the Netflix series has sparked a conversation that goes beyond the screen, touching on issues of truth, representation and privilege. Whether you agree with Thomas Jr. or not, the debate highlights the power of media to shape narratives and influence public opinion. The claims made by Thomas Jr. during the TalkTV appearance were met with widespread skepticism. His statements seemed to lack any substantial evidence, leaving many viewers questioning his motives. Many viewers found them to be demonstrably false, pointing out inconsistencies and outright fabrications in his narrative. Social media was abuzz with reactions as people dissected his every word. Some even pointed out the irony of his statements. Here was a man who had repeatedly sought the limelight by selling stories about his sister, now accusing her of seeking attention. The hypocrisy was palpable and did not go unnoticed. Thomas Jr. had a history of exploiting his family ties for personal gain. His numerous interviews with tabloids and appearances on talk shows painted a clear picture of someone who thrived on the drama surrounding his sister Meghan Markle. This latest outburst felt like another attempt to insert himself into Meghan's narrative. His actions seemed calculated to stir controversy and keep him in the public eye, regardless of the impact on his sister. Viewers were quick to recognize the pattern. Thomas Jr.'s history of public outbursts and sensational claims made it difficult for anyone to take him seriously. This latest episode was no different. His claims were transparent in their intent. It was clear to many that he aimed to discredit Meghan and undermine her happiness, perhaps out of jealousy or a desire for attention. The public saw through his attempts to paint Meghan in a negative light. Instead of damaging her reputation, his actions only served to highlight his own insincerity and desperation for relevance.